Everybody. All right, looks like I am live. Welcome everybody. Thank you for joining me today. It is the 1st of September 2022 as I'm doing this live, which is of course going to a recording on both Facebook and in YouTube. I'm gonna pop over here to Facebook real fast and hit refresh, and I'm gonna click share so it gets around the internet a little bit. And then I will be right back with you. Let me just click share and put it on one or two of my pages. Okay, and I'll be right back with you. For those that are just joining, please share. Please hit the like button. Let other people know that I am live, so that they can enjoy this live teaching as well. What are we doing? We're doing Tao Calligraphy, how to heal and transform depression and anxiety. So it's a very exciting opportunity. Obviously, I'm excited about it because I'm here. And it's something that, I really enjoy doing. Like I taught before, the Tao Calligraphy, how to heal and rejuvenate your back book, this one here. And now that I'm able to read this new book, be able to share it with Master Sha and share Master Sha's wisdom and so much more. So please do share, let other people know about this. And I am coming back now to be fully present. Okay, I did my sharing. And so this is the third in the series where we have the opportunity to really ingrain the wisdom that is in these books. When I read the first one, this one here, Tao Calligraphy, How to Heal and Rejuvenate Your Back, it was a lot of aha moments for me. And, being a center leader and 13-year teacher of this, that was something because, I'm pretty knowledgeable in Master Sha's wisdom, but to really take time and read it to you, the audience, it really changes things. It changes my perspective. So the first thing I want to say is for those both Facebook and YouTube, please go into the comment section, tell me hi. I'd love to know who's here, where you're from. Tell me you're here and I'll be happy to acknowledge you, give you some love. We are going to do some healing today, of course. And for those of you that are unfamiliar, I'm going to share with you an image that is of this book. It's called Tao Calligraphy, How to Heal and Transform Your Life. You can, of course, purchase it at Amazon or any other location. And this is a Kindle image of it. So there's many different ways you can access it. But it's very powerful, I have to say. I've already been working with it with a few people, and those who purchase it, they also get access to an animated field. You may or may not know that. If you don't, now you do. Welcome, Ronnie Rick. Great to see you. Thank you for joining in from Barbados. And so when you have this book, and you can, of course, just put it on your heart. You can trace the calligraphy, and if you're unfamiliar with that, you'll learn more today. And one of the wonderful aspects of this is that you can also bless other people with it. You can have a friend on the phone and or Zoom or whatever, and you can say, maybe they're explaining some fears they're having about the job. They might have depression around it or anxiety. You can be chatting with them and just asking permission. Do I have permission to send you in some energy blessings? They say yes. Great. Start tracing the book. They're going to feel better by the time you're done because that's what it does. It transforms the negative information, that we're holding in our energetic field, our etheric field, or however you want to verbiage it. Welcome, Isa, coming in from Toronto. Great to see you here. Welcome, Anthea. Anthea's over in Florida. So we're getting all over the world here. So happy to see you all here. Anybody who hasn't commented, please do so. Love to acknowledge you. And please hit the share button. Let other people know about this live stream. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to touch just quickly on what we covered in the previous chapters. We're moving into chapter 2 now. I think there's 13 chapters in this book. And we'll do that roughly a half hour. I will read a little bit and then pause and interact about what I've read. And then in the last 15 minutes, we're going to spend just on healing. Very, very exciting. Okay. So let me pop into what we were covering last week. Here we go. So you should be able to see this. Now this is chapter 2, so we're just going to go back a little bit and do a quick reminder. And so what we talked about in essence was the law of Shen, Qi, Jing. Now we're going to go into a little more detail in this chapter coming up here, but there's basically 5 levels of this law. And the first level is called soul is information or message. And that means that soul is creator. And the second level is that soul leads the heart. So the soul is carrying the message, is carrying the information. And the heart then is the receiver of that information, whether it's positive or negative. The third step is that the heart leads the mind. So the heart receives this message from the soul. It's the carrier of information. The heart sends that positive or negative information to the mind, which then processes it. And that mind then leads the energy. The energy leads the matter. So that's the nutshell overview of what we covered last week. So now we're going to go into the Tao science explanation of the universal law of Shen, Qi, Jing. That was more on the Eastern philosophy of the nature of our sufferings. Okay, so now this goes into a little bit more of a scientific perspective of this exact same slice of wisdom. Welcome, Jonathan. Welcome everybody else who showed up. Please tell me hi. Tell me who you are. Jonathan's coming in from Trinidad. So we got Barbados. We got Trinidad in the house. We got a lot of East Coast here. Toronto. We've got Anthea in Florida. I don't see any West Coast. We need some West Coast. Come give me your love. All right, I'm going to start reading. So, and by the way, this book is written by Dr. and Master Sha, but he often refers to Dr. Rulin Shu because her approach, doing what's called Tao science, is very, very important to be able to take this very high-level form of healing that is transmitted into this book, which the general mind will have difficulty with that, and she's able to explain it scientifically. So for those of you that are a little more, I need to understand this kind of perspective, you'll really enjoy this. Welcome, Nicola, coming in from Toronto, East Coast, going strong here. Okay, Dr. Lin Shu and I co-created Tao Science in 2016. This is Master Sha's words. Dr. Shu is a quantum physicist and string theorist, having received her PhD in 1994 from the University of California, Berkeley. And this doesn't mention that she got her very high-level degree in China, one of the most prestigious Chinese universities, as a physicist as well. She had to redo it in America. So she got it from Berkeley. She is an entrepreneur, an herbalist, a singer, author, and master teacher, and by the way, a center leader along with myself at Tao Center Portland. Tao Science is the culmination of 3 decades of work on the grand unification theory. Tao is the source of everyone and everything. Tao Science is the science of the source, creation, healing, and transformation, and enlightenment. Pause a minute. There's a science of the source, creation, healing, transformation, and enlightenment. You don't normally see those words together, science and enlightenment. Tao Science, it goes on to say, is a new groundbreaking science that helps unify science and spirituality at the most fundamental level. Tao Science is the science of grand unification. According to the ancient wisdom, according to the ancient Chinese wisdom, which is part of the universal law of Shen, Qi, Jing, everyone and everything is made of 3 things. Shen, which is soul, heart, and mind. Qi, which is energy. And Jing, which is matter. Scientific research reveals that these 3 basic constituents of everyone and everything, Shen, Qi, and Jing, generally correspond to the 3 scientific concepts known as information, energy, and matter. Matter is what we see, feel, hear, observe, and experience. It is everything in our physical reality. Matter is everything in our physical reality. Be clear on that. Energy is what changes what is in our physical reality. Information is what determines the form and shape of matter and energy. So information precedes the energy, and the energy causes movement in how that matter manifests in our world. Information is at the top of the food chain. Going on to read, it is that which informs. To inform is to answer a question. Questions can be posed so that the answer is either yes or no. Therefore, information can be represented as a sequence of yeses and nos. A computer does exactly this by specifying information using a series of zeros and ones. Now we're living in the information age, and we know the importance of this. For example, we know that information about our bank account determines how much money we have. Modern physics reveals that everyone and everything, that's you, is a vibrational field. A vibration can also be construed as a wave. It's a periodic oscillation extending over space and time. A vibration is described by frequency, wavelength, amplitude, and velocity. Very big words. Let's see if we can break it down. Frequency describes how fast the vibration oscillates. So, visually, I've worked with Rolanda. She would say that a vibration does this, right? It oscillates. Frequency is how fast does it do this, or does it do it slowly? Okay, so that's putting it into terms. And then so far what they've also said is that everything, you, I, everything, the chair you're sitting on does this. And the difference is what frequency is it doing it at? Okay, so that's what's been explained so far in simple verbiage that I can understand. And welcome to the next few folks that have jumped in. Welcome Pat coming in from Trinidad. Welcome Neela coming in from Florida. Aloha Risto. Great to see you all here. Thank you all for hitting that share button. Let other people know. Let's continue. Information is what determines. Okay, we've done that. Let's move over here. A vibration is described by its frequency, its wavelength, its amplitude, and its velocity. Frequency describes how fast the vibration moves. Wavelength is the distance between those waves. Remember, I just showed you some waves? So that's the distance between them. Amplitude tells us the height of that wave, of that oscillation. And velocity shows the speed at which this whole wave is moving, okay? Our vibrational field contains many different vibrations. So think about that for a minute. You and I have many different vibrations. We have a vibration of listening right now going on. We might have a cell phone vibration going on. We might have vibrations of a thought in the back of our head that's going, did I turn the stove off? We are a combination of many, many vibrations. And those vibrations in the next sentence says they carry information, energy, and matter. Although everything we observe and experience is matter, it takes energy to move that matter. It takes energy to move you and me, right? Takes energy to move and change matter. It is information that determines the energy and matter. So restated, it is information that determines a movement. I get information, oh my gosh, I hear the water boiling, that's information. My energy moves my body to go over to the stove and change it. Information arise before energy and matter occur. Okay, that's the important thing to understand here. Information determines and creates what we observe and experience. Information creates what we observe and what we experience. So our information can determine what we are observing. We could say that all black cats are bad, so that when we see a black cat, we observe a black cat, that determines our experience. But other people might think that black cats are not bad. Information determines and creates what we observe and experience. Information is our vibrational field, determines every aspect of our life. Pause. Did you get that? Information in your field determines every aspect of your life. What somebody taught you, which may have been incorrect, is determining what you're creating. What somebody taught you that may be correct is also determining what you're creating. And any positive or negative stuff happening in your life is being viewed through the eyes of that information, which then can assist you in the determination of what you want to create or how you're perceiving things. Going back to the next statement. Information consists of three aspects: the content of that information, the receiver and emitter of that information, and the processor of that information. We find that the content of information the content of information in our vibrational field is spirit or soul, because the content of information determines every aspect of life. Your soul is carrying all your memories of all your lifetimes, so it is determining every aspect of your life. Then it goes on to say spirit or soul is the essence of our life. It plays a critical role in shaping our life. When our physical body ceases to function, the content of information in our vibrational field still exists. When the body dies and becomes worm food, you, as the soul, and all of your information ever received in this life still exists. This is why our spirit or soul continues its journey even when our physical life ends. Physical life is limited. Spirit or soul, however, can be eternal. Physical life is determined and directed by the spirit or soul. The highest purpose of our physical life is to serve our soul's purpose. Our soul has its purpose. When we know our soul's purpose, then our physical life can be smoother and have greater meaning and impact. We have a physical heart, you and I do, and we have a spiritual heart. The spiritual heart is the heart mentioned in spiritual writings. We have discovered that the spiritual heart is the receiver, and it is also the emitter of information. It receives and it transmits. The antenna of a radio is both a receiver of information, It can receive the vibrations and information of a radio program transmitted from a radio station, making it impossible for here to broadcast, making it possible for us to hear that broadcast. Similarly, our spiritual heart is the receiver and the emitter or transmitter of information, making it possible to manifest the information from our soul into our, big word, reality. Your reality is different than mine. I know Pat, I know Johnny, their reality is very different than mine. We have a lot of things in common, but they live in an environment that's very different than where I live. Therefore, our realities are different because the information that enters our system is different. Without applying our spiritual heart to this, we would not be able to receive all of the positive information from our soul to empower us to manifest a life we want. The mind, which is the next paragraph, is the processor of this information. Similar to a computer, our mind can process information received from our spiritual heart. The output of this process is called a decision, which could be conscious or it could be subconscious. With this decision, the mind tells us what action to take. In this way, the mind directs the energy. Okay, so we receive information with my ears that the pot is boiling. My heart says, it sends this message of fear. Oh my God, the pot is boiling. The mind is the processor of that information and the decision is made. Then directs the energy to get up out of your chair, go turn off that pot, the actual action. Okay, it applies the same in everything that we do. So in our research, Dr. Lin goes on to say, Master Sha goes on to say, we have discovered that there are two kinds of information, positive and negative. Positive information describes the connection, the order, the harmony that exists within someone or something and with others. Positive information gives a soul the power to create simply by giving a message. Positive information brings health, longevity, peace, efficiency, good relationships, abundant finances, and success in every aspect of life. Can I have more positive messages, please? I want all of that. What about you? Next sentence. A happy, healthy, and successful life is built on a solid foundation of positive information. Very important words. Solid foundation of positive information. Therefore, the purpose of life is to enhance our positive information. Negative information, on the other hand, is the disconnection, disorder, and disharmony within someone or something and with others. Negative information generates sickness, unbalanced emotions, inefficiency, difficulties in relationship, blockages in finances, and lack of success in any aspect of life. Negative information is the root cause of all diseases, misfortune, and challenges in life. In one sentence, information is the root cause of success and failure in every aspect of life. Well, welcome again to everyone that's come in. She says, how can I share this now with another person? So Isa, on your Facebook or YouTube, you can simply click share if that's made available to you. For most people, it is. And if you don't see it that way, you can copy paste the link that you're watching me through and send it to somebody in an email or drop it into a social media. Okay, that's how you can do it. And I see 7 or 8 people that have said I'm here. There's still a few that haven't said hi. Please do so, and please also share. So I wanted to pause here just a quick moment and say, I gave you an example that was relatively obvious. The information of the hot water captured my ear, step, 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 right? My heart received this. It was kind of scary information. My mind processed it. Okay, I have to get up. The energy moved the body went over, action, okay? Now, let's apply this to the higher wisdom of our life, right? It's not always hot water, okay? This is saying that our soul, our spirit is carrying positive and negative information. And for the vast majority of us, we are oblivious to it. We are not conscious and aware that it's triggering us. Our heart might just happenstance receive a negative thought. And where did it receive it? It was already on our vibrational field. It wasn't a conscious thing that our ear picked up, right? And so because it was already on our vibrational field, we might have received a negative thought without being conscious of it. Our mind says, negative thought, let's process this. And then it processes this negative thought. Maybe it's an old relationship thing that's spinning in your head, right? Why did they do that to me? Why did they do that to me? And it's so automatic, it's on your field. The heart received that negative thought, the mind processes that negative thought, and then you find yourself in a depression, which is the matter, the end result of that negative thought. But much of this happens below the surface, and this is what this wisdom is trying to teach us. So I gave you a practical example, and then I gave you kind of a hidden example, but both are occurring both on the top of the surface and underneath the surface. And it's our responsibility to recognize that we are a soul having these kinds of experiences so we can make better choices. So welcome Zahir coming in from Genertad. Welcome Rosemarie coming in from the Philippines. It's very early over in the Philippines. We're so happy to have you here. Love you all. Thank you for clicking that share. Let's go back to some more of this wisdom. Share a little bit deeper, shall we? Positive information is the root cause of success. Negative information is the root cause of failure. Therefore, to heal, transform, empower, and uplift our life at the deepest root level is to turn negative information that's already in our vibrational field into positive information. Sounds good to me. Everyone and everything are an informational system. They said everything, not just you. Everyone and everything carries this positive and negative information. Our soul, heart, and mind are 3 important aspects of our informational system, which molds every aspect of our life. From the point of view of information, energy is the actioner of information. Matter is the manifester of information, and manifester and transformer of information. Our physical life is the manifestation of the entirety of our soul's information. That's a really key statement. What we experience in our life and how we experience it tells our soul the consequences of the information that it carries through our heart, mind, and body. The purpose of our physical life is to help our soul learn, transform, and accordingly be uplifted to a higher level of positive information. Or spiritually speaking, you could say our physical life is to serve our soul life so that we can learn from the mistakes we made, which show up in our physical life as suffering. And we can address those sufferings using the sacred wisdoms that are being brought out in this book, using the techniques and the Tao calligraphies being brought forward in this book, and we can apply those to transform the negative back into positive, thereby uplifting our soul's journey and then moving higher and higher towards our source. Both ways of saying it work. Next paragraph. When we give a specific message or information, the specific information starts to attract and direct energy and matter and leads to the phenomena that we experience called our life. This is how we create our own reality and our own life. The law of Shen Qi Jing in the previous chapter is a law of cause and effect. Information, including soul, heart, and mind, is the cause. The physical reality is the effect of the information that we may be unconscious to or conscious of. That's my extra added words. This tells us how we ourselves create every aspect of our life from the information that we give and receive through thinking, feeling, speaking, hearing, seeing, writing, and our other actions. If we want to create a life that we truly want, we should be disciplined to think, feel, speak, hear, see, write, and convey the proper information, which is positive information or positive messages about what we want in life. If we think, feel, speak, hear, see, write, and convey information about what we don't want, which how many of us do? How many of us speak, feel, speak, see, write what we don't want? I don't want this. I don't want that. I hate this. I hate that. I complain about this. I complain about that. What are you doing? You're conveying a negative message. And this goes on to say that if we do that, we will experience what we don't want. This is why we need to stop thinking, feeling, speaking, hearing, seeing, writing, and doing things that convey information that we don't want. I think that was a pretty clear statement, right? So why then do we do it? Why? Master Sha is talking about one of his top teachers that even though they know this, even though they know they should not say anything, even though they know they should not complain, even though they know they should not respond with an automatic angry response or reaction, they are still doing it. And they know the wisdom, they know the teachings. Why? Have you ever done that? You and I know this, and then you have an angry reaction. I raised my hand. I'm much better, but definitely have had a lot of it. A lot of it. Why? Because on our personal vibrational field, there is so much of it that it's not just one layer. Okay? So it's really, really, really important to understand that even though you conceptually know what has been shared with you, you must consistently honor your soul journey and consistently give your body as much positive information, messages, energy, and matter that you possibly can. That's what the Tao Calligraphy does. That's what the Tao song and all of the Tao form of healing does. It radiates the most pure positive frequency and vibration onto your field, washing away, weaning away, erasing bit by bit by bit the stuff that's on the field that still causes you to overreact, still causes you to have depression, right? People say, well, I've done this depression practice before and it's only had minimal results. Well, how heavy, how big is the negative information on your vibrational field? This is one thing that actually is not mentioned at much depth in this because this book was written for that beginner. But here's really important to understand. If you're not able to move through and pass something and it just keeps beating you over the head, no matter what you try, it's very simple. It's very, very heavy negative information. It's information that is so big in your field because at some level in this lifetime or another lifetime, that same experience you're having, let's say it's depression, was caused upon others, either by you or your ancestors. Tao science would say it goes through your hereditary genes. The spiritual side would say it goes through your ancestors to you. You or your ancestors created a heavy, heavy, heavy depression upon many, many people. Otherwise, it wouldn't be in your field in such a dogmatic, hard to work with way. So be sure you understand that when you're working with this wisdom and practicing, don't stop. You just go at it until you have so much positive frequency in your field that negativity is no longer beating you up. It's that simple. So I'm going to go back, otherwise I'll be on my soapbox for a while. Let's read a little bit more, and then we're going to do some practice. Maybe we'll stop here. Yeah, we're going to stop here, okay? Because this goes into even more, and we're going to pick that up. We're just going to do some practice now. Okay? I think you have a pretty good understanding so far of Shen, Qi, and Jing and information, energy, and matter. Welcome Zahir. Welcome also Rosemarie. I think I've acknowledged everybody. If I haven't acknowledged you, that's because you haven't put your name in the chat. So great to see you all. Let's do a practice now. I'm going to put up an image. This is the image on the back of Master Sha's book, the one that you might choose to get or not. And let me switch this image around so I can get, I didn't mean to close it. Now I have to go back and find it. Okay. Good. Share image. Here we go. Say, I'm multi-talented. So this image is the back of Master Sha's book. I made a close-up of it so you would have a good ability to see the calligraphy. Now, might be difficult to see my mouse, but I will try to show you the flow of this. And what we're going to do is we are going to trace by touching all 5 fingers together. Now, there's an advanced method for those that are students that are familiar with the advanced method using the lower dantian. You might want to trace with that. But for the rest of us, we're going to touch all 5 fingers together, and we're simply going to trace. We're simply going to follow. And real briefly, because this is, chapter 3, it hasn't been explained how this works. So if somebody picks up this video at some point down the road, 6 months, a year or two, and they're new to this, and they're wondering, why is this guy tracing this calligraphy? I don't get it. I have to do a brief explanation. So in essence, Dr. Master Sha is one of the preeminent healers on the planet, and he has the ability to transmit this healing authority, this most pure positive frequency and vibration into things like a piece of art. And that remains there. Think of it like a portal, and it remains in there until we interact with it, which I will walk you through in just a moment. And that interaction allows what has been stored in there then to come to us, kind of like putting power into a battery, and then you go to that battery when you need it, and all of a sudden it puts out that power. The good news with this particular source art is, unlike a battery, it never expires. It will continue to give you healing forever as long as you interact with it. Okay, so that's the short version of how it works. More on that, chapter 7 and 8. Let's go into it now. Touch your 5 fingers together. I will walk you through the invocation. By the way, when you do this, don't bother putting your hand out here and getting tired. Just keep it by your side and rotate your wrists much easier. Let's do an invocation together. If it's comfortable for you, then repeat after me. And dear this source calligraphy for healing and transforming depression and anxiety. My name is, state your name. This is for heaven because heaven is the one doing the blessing. State your name. My name is Paul Fletcher. I'm so grateful for the opportunity to receive the stored healing, positive messages, information, frequency, and vibration to help me to heal and transform any depression or anxiety, any emotions that I have on my vibration, on my soul, on my spirit. Please help me to transform these. I'm extremely grateful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, let us trace. Now I will trace this so you can see it with my mouse, and hopefully you'll be able to see the cursor. We're going to move the next one. This goes up, and then this big line down across the other side, looping underneath, and then back across to the top, down, chunk. Finishing the little pigtail there, going down one, straight down, back up, down, across to the right, looping to the top, down to the bottom, and then back up, doing that little tail again. Up to the top left. Always start at the top right. We go down in. This is pretty simple, like the number 3, ending with a tail, down to this T-looking shape, and then back up. Pay attention to this one. Down, across. We don't go down all the way. We go down to right here, and think of this like a B shape. We go out, whoop, back in, and then finish with the bottom whoosh down to this long M shape, and then down to this final shape here. Big letter J across, all the way across. Now watch this, we're going to loop up to the top and big down halfway, back to that letter B again, and then we finish into what's called the heart shape. This is like the top of the heart, okay? Let us all trace this together, and I will chant along with you. We're going to chant some words that I'll make up as we go. Basically, it'll be Tao Calligraphy heals depression and anxiety. Let us begin. Tao Source Calligraphy heals my depression, and Tao Source Calligraphy heals my anxiety. Tao Source Calligraphy heals my depression. Tao Source Calligraphy heals my anxiety. So for any of those that are new, I just popped right into chanting and mantra. If you're new, you might say I'm a little bit strange. So one of the reasons we do that is it invokes an additional frequency and vibration. Master Sha teaches, continue to trace by the way, Master Sha teaches that there are many different ways vibration can be increased. We can do it by how we hold our fingers in this example called body power. We can do it by working with the frequency in the calligraphy, which is called writing power. We can do it through invoking or talking to the positive messages, which we did when I said, dear this calligraphy, please bless us. It's called soul power. These are all powers, writing power, body power, and sound power is one of the powers. So when we chant a mantra, we are carrying forth additional higher frequency and vibration. And I happen to have healing abilities through my sound because I have a healing transmission for healing through sound and mantra. So you are getting healing through what has been stored in the source calligraphy, through the mantra that I'm chanting. You're getting healing by how you're holding your fingers. And because you connected to this source calligraphy and asked for healing from your heart, you are getting additional healing in that way as well. All of these stacked together increase, enhance the frequency and vibration. So that statement is for all those that are new that might be listening for the first time. Let us continue. Tao Source Calligraphy heals my depression. Tao Source Calligraphy heals my anxiety. Tao Source Calligraphy heals and transforms depression. Tao Source Calligraphy heals and transforms anxiety. Tao Calligraphy heals and transforms depression. Tao Source Calligraphy heals and transforms anxiety. Tao Source Calligraphy heals and transforms depression. Tao Source Calligraphy heals and transforms anxiety. Tao Source Calligraphy heals and transforms depression. Tao Source Calligraphy heals and transforms anxiety. Tao Source Calligraphy heals and transforms depression. Tao Source Calligraphy heals and transforms anxiety. Continue to trace, and you will visualize another power, another way of increasing the frequency and vibration is to visualize. What do you visualize? You have to have your eyes open to work with a calligraphy, right? You simply visualize light radiating from this source calligraphy to your heart center. Dr. and Master Shah has shared some very important ancient wisdom, which is these particular emotions, depression and anxiety, have a direct correlation to your heart chakra, what's referred to as the message center. The message center is where we receive the messages. So think about it. What did the Tao science wisdom just tell you? That the soul is the carrier of the information, positive and negative. What is the heart? It is the receiver and the emitter. What is it receiving? It is receiving this negative information of depression and anxiety. How did it get there? Well, can you think of a trauma, a life experience where it was very, very discomforting, very harmful and hurtful? Maybe a love, maybe a loss of a love, maybe a relationship, and your heart was so heartbroken. This could have created an anxiety about your future. It could have created a depression about no longer being able to find true love, etc. You might believe that you're beyond that now, and possibly you are. But many of us, we learn to basically shove it aside and then do our best to work around it because we don't have the necessary tools to process it with love and light. We don't have the ability to forgive. So forgiveness is one of the most important tools that Master Sha speaks of. We're now going to incorporate a forgiveness practice in this healing so we can further stack the frequency and vibration to enhance our healing. So again, if comfortable, I will guide you through a forgiveness practice. And if it resonates with you, then I invite you to repeat it silently. Dear humanity, dear all of my ancestors, dear all souls in all time, time that I'm aware of, time that I'm not aware of. If I or my ancestors have ever offered unpleasant thoughts, very harmful, hurtful, painful words, or offered truly unpleasant actions, and as a result, you have experienced anxiety or depression. As a result, you may have experienced such deep fear, worry, anxiety that you might not have been able to move. You might not have been able to process your life. You may have had such great fear, worry, and anxiety that you were not able to even employ yourself, have a job, or be happy. You may have had such severe depression as a result of some mistakes that we could have made in a time we do not acknowledge or remember, that you could have even possibly considered taking your life. I could not imagine such a deep and heavy unpleasant energy. But I know that nobody is perfect. Certainly, I have made huge mistakes in this life alone. So it's certainly possible that I or my ancestors could have done some unpleasant things or spoken some unpleasant words, and you could have had great unpleasantness in your field that was placed there by our wrong actions. I wish you to know how deeply, deeply sorry I am for this harm that we may have caused you. I'm very, very sorry. I would not wish depression on anyone. I would not wish anxiety on anyone. And if we have harmed you from the depths of my heart, I most sincerely, sincerely apologize. I also wish to extend my heartfelt offering of forgiveness to anyone, especially in this life, but also others that may have contributed to these emotions in my field. You may have created a very unpleasant experience in my life, and I may not be aware if I had done it to you at some point in time. But regardless, I know one thing. I no longer want this emotion in my vibration. I know now that possibly I or my ancestors offered this same unpleasant emotions to you first. And it could be that you reminded me and offered it back to me this time around. Regardless, I wish to extend to you, moving forward from now on, my unconditional forgiveness. And I most humbly and sincerely ask forgiveness if I had brought these conditions to you first. Let us forgive each other. Let us open our hearts. Let us move on and let go this negative information once and for all. I can never thank you enough for the opportunity to receive your forgiveness to all of those souls that may have been harmed. And I will sing a mantra. If you know it, you can join. If you do not, just enjoy the frequency. I forgive you. You forgive me. Bring love, peace, and harmony. Bring love, peace, and harmony. I forgive you. You forgive me. Bring love, peace, and harmony. Bring love, peace, and harmony. I forgive you. Please forgive me. Bring love, peace, and harmony. Bring love, peace, and harmony. I forgive you. You forgive me. Bring love, peace, and harmony. Bring love, peace, and harmony. I forgive you. You forgive me. Bring love, peace, and harmony. From your heart, say thank you, thank you, thank you. We say thank you 3 times. It's something that Master Sha does. And we ask him why. And he said, the first thank you is to the source. The second thank you is to all the beings of love and light and all those who have offered their forgiveness. Third thank you is to our own soul that is so very grateful for the opportunity to transform and release this negative information. So please feel free to share in the comments anything you would like to share about today's session. This is week 3, and we will do a practice each and every week to help release any negative, depression, anxiety, anything that you have. It doesn't have to be that. One of the things that Master Sha has reminded us is that each of his books carry extraordinary frequency and vibration. And you can ask those source calligraphies and all of the life force within to transform any part of your life. Doesn't matter what it is. So I look forward to seeing some of your sharing. In the meantime, I'm going to place a post in here for an event that's happening September 4th with a phenomenal series of teachers. David Lush, Grandmaster David Lush. She is the center leader for Portland, and Grandmaster Cher, who is a Tao songstress, incredible. And she teaches Tao Song, and they're both going to be teaching the sacred secrets of Tao of healing. So if you would like to attend that, that's this coming weekend, September 4th, 2022, there is a special link here I'm dropping into the chat, and you can learn more about that and join that. It's very, very affordable, and if you happen to be a member of Tao Center Portland, you save an additional 25%. So please make sure you click on that. And even if it's something you cannot do, consider sharing with others, because these two teachers combined in one setting, in one format, teaching you and doing practice with you, applying the wisdom, doing the practices, healing, giving you the opportunity to make huge transformation in your healing journey is nothing short of magical. So I encourage you to do so. And so I see, waiting for a post or two from anyone. Sometimes it takes, I've learned this about StreamYard, so I'm working through, sometimes it takes them a few minutes for a post to show up. So I will be back Tuesday, every Tuesday and Thursday at this time. We will have the opportunity to go into each chapter. Sherry says, thank you so much, Paul and Master Sha. This practice really felt good, especially after your teachings. Very touching forgiveness practice. She's definitely feeling lighter. That's great. Thank you, Sherry, for sharing. Nicola says, thank you so much. Watched with my 11-year-old daughter who did the practice and said her mind feels better. Great. Her words, healthier and open. I love that. Your daughter got to share. And then Ronnie says that she's feeling more relaxed. This is beautiful. And so I invite you to acquire that book, right? You can type in How to Heal and Transform Depression and Anxiety, Master Sha, and you will find it anywhere on Amazon, anywhere in the bookstores will have it. And you can get the digital version or the physical version. And either way, somewhere around page 8, 9, 10, or 11, somewhere in there, there's a little website and QR code. You type it in, and you can just put on that animation, sit back in your lounge chair, put it on loop, and just say, please heal, open my heart, help heal any anxiety, depression I might be holding in my field. Even if you don't feel any, it's very smart to be proactive, because that will keep your heart much more open. With the current environment in today's society, lots of fear mongering, lots of agenda to put you in a place that is not of love and light. This will help you to stay in the right mental, emotional space, okay? I'm so grateful for this opportunity to see you. Grab a friend, bring them next Tuesday when I come back, and have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Make sure you click on the link I put in the chat and come to the special workshop with David and Cher. Bye-bye, everybody.